Right. 10 May 2025. And today I want to give you one of the most important broadcasts I've ever done. And this is going to show you what is going to happen very soon in Zimbabwe. As I always say to you, Mnangagwa is gone. So Mnangagwa is gone. It's just a matter of time before Mnangagwa is gone. In the security structures, over 99% of the people now want Mnangagwa to go. And a lot is happening behind the scenes. And today I'm going to give you something that you've never heard, exclusively from my sources. And I always try to give you what is necessary. So there are some things that I won't tell you today, but I will tell you some things that will clarify to you where we are and where we are going. So I talked to a lot of people in the security services. Some of them, they talk to me directly. Some of them talk to me through other people. But I want to show you what is happening and where we are with the removal of Mnangagwa. So Mnangagwa is going to be removed very soon. He's not going to be in office for long. So let's get started and let's go into what Geza said yesterday. So Geza gave an address last night. And during that address, he revealed that there have been setbacks in the struggle. And I now want to take you through the setbacks and what is going to happen. And I also want to connect it to Nyoka so that you understand what's going on and we take it from there. So, according to my sources, Nyoka is not the only person that was taken on the 14th of April. So, a lot more people were taken, and there was a massive operation by Zimbabwe intelligence, Zimbabwe military, private security, and also people from the South African security services. So this operation was focused on a certain place inside of Johannesburg, where people were lured to this place under the pretense that they were going to a meeting. So these are mostly ex-military guys who were lured from many places in South Africa to this place, and then they were captured and they were severely tortured. So they were severely tortured for hours inside of South Africa. And this is after most of them were told that this meeting was in preparation for the stay away inside of Zimbabwe. So these guys were called in and they were told that if you come to this place, this is what we're going to do final planning. And when they arrived there, they sat down, they had the meeting, they did all the logistical planning. And then after they've completed all the logistical planning, the agents who were inside the meeting stood up and then started to beat them up, arrested most of them, took away some of them, and most of those who were there, about 20, ended up at a police station. However, there is a missing number that up to now, no one knows what has happened to this large number of mostly ex-military guys who were captured at that meeting. And those who were taken to the police, most of them, they managed to get away. But Nyoka is the only one that out of that group was left in custody. So I want you to understand why Nyoka was left in custody. Nyoka was left in custody because he was considered a high-value target. The other guys were considered to be operational. So the operational guys, but Nyoka was considered to be a high-value target. So what has happened to Nyoka Mabunu is that when these other guys were taken, he was also taken. He was severely tortured, especially under the feet, on the head. I told you that Nyoka Mabunu had injuries on the left and on the right of the head. He was severely tortured on the feet. He could barely walk. Almost everyone who was there could barely walk. And to capture 50 people, especially ex-military, you need a bigger group. And this operation was led, according to my understanding, by Sean Mnangagwa, who came into South Africa with mercenaries, Zimbabwe intelligence, Zimbabwe army. Many guys came in. And that meeting, there were a lot of people there. So these guys were taken and they were severely beaten and could barely walk. So when they got to the police at Sandton, they could barely walk inside of the police. They were so badly beaten that most of them could not walk. They were made to reveal details of operations. And Nyoka Mabunu was taken to a private place where his belongings were opened, and they obtained certain information from Nyoka Mabunu, including his bank details. They then proceeded to go to Nyoka Mabunu's bank and withdraw large sums of money from Nyoka Mabunu's bank. So this is what I've heard and what has happened. They've then withdrawn the bank account and they've taken out a printout of the bank statement to see who has been making transfers in and out of the bank. So the money in question, I've already said it when the abduction took place, but obviously we didn't have the detail that this money that was in Nyoka Mabunu's bank account has been taken, has been withdrawn, and possession of Nyoka Mabunu's phone means that they've gone into the banking app of Nyoka Mabunu to see who has been making payments in, who has been making payments out of that bank account. So the purpose, obviously, was to collect information. They also took over the group, the WhatsApp group of Nyoka Mabunu updates. They've also taken over the group and defiled it to 30 pictures. And they've also gone in there and found out secret communications between Nyoka Mabunu and various people. So that is to do with Nyoka Mabunu. I've got certain details that I won't include at this point, given the court case. But the important thing is that there was a certain amount of money in that bank account which had been deposited into the account. So the interest of Zimbabwe intelligence at that point was to find out who deposited the money and also to obviously remove that money from the bank so that they remove the money from Nyoka Mabunu. So that is what has happened to do with the money. The cash, which was in Nyoka Mabunu's bank, was withdrawn. Now, I want to go to the implications. So I'm not going to take long. What are the implications of what has happened? There's been a massive disruption of the activities of M31. The planned master way was severely affected by what happened. And information has been collected, massive information on funders, on communication, on key figures. This is what has happened. Mnangagwa has successfully managed to infiltrate M31 on this particular event or occasion. And people are now at a point where they cannot move back. So whoever is on one side cannot move back. Whoever is on the other side cannot move back. So the battle line is drawn. Whoever moves first wins. Whoever moves last loses. So the point where we are, within a short space of time, you are going to see a clash of the two sides, because one side knows everyone on the other side, and the other side knows that if they don't move, they are going to be taken out. So within a short space of time, you're going to see movement, and it's going to be a very big movement. You've already seen movement in the military. Mnangagwa has already made changes in the military this past week. But what I believe is that there is a move at a political level that is set to happen very soon, because Mnangagwa now has details about key players, who are the key players within the Geza movement. So this is going to be very, very critical. Mnangagwa has details that he has collected from the over 50 guys who were at that meeting. He also has taken some of the guys, and I don't know where they are. No one knows if they are free. No one knows if they are in custody. No one knows if they've been killed. And no one knows what is happening. So it's very important for you to be aware of this. Sean Mnangagwa, according to my sources, has established a torture base in South Africa in the suburb of Randburg. So I'm not making this up. And this information is widely available to the South African authorities, that the Zimbabweans and intelligence of Zimbabwe has established a torture base at Randburg. And it's well known around the people at Randburg that such a torture base exists, where Zimbabwean activists and people who are in the opposition are being taken to and are being abducted and are being kept for hours and hours at the 11th floor of a certain building, which is well known. And I'm sure that photographs of such a building do exist, and people are aware of what is going on over there. So very, very important to understand what has happened and why we are where we are right now. A military operation launched, which included Zimbabwe intelligence, probably some South Africans, and some mercenaries. As I mentioned, you cannot capture such a big group without using mercenaries. And some of the guys still missing, guys who were taken and lured to that meeting, believed that they were going to a meeting to finalize the planning for the stay away. But when they arrived, they walked into a trap. They were beaten so badly, they were tortured. About 20 of them were dumped at a police station at Santon, and the majority of them managed to escape. However, Nyoka Mapunu, who traveled, so we initially said Nyoka Mapunu was abducted from Port Elizabeth. It turns out that this is not correct. Nyoka Mapunu was lured to Johannesburg by someone that he knows. On arrival, he was taken by people who said they were taking him to a meeting, but he walked into that trap. He was also taken, tortured very badly, and Nyoka Mapunu is the only one currently who is currently detained. The one group of about 20 guys managed to escape. The Nyoka Mapunu is the one who remained, and about 30 guys cannot be accounted for. No one knows what has happened to these guys who were planning for the protest. And most of these guys, according to my sources, are ex-military. So the key information here is that we have a military operation in South Africa. The arrest of Nyoka Mapunu is purely a political persecution. It's no longer anything to do with what we call a fraud or documentation. It's a purely military operation which took place, and it took place on the soil of South Africa. So this is what has happened according to my sources. And I wanted to give you just a background and a bit of enlightenment on why Geza mentioned that there has been a setback. This is massive because if this operation had succeeded, by now Mnangagwa would have been gone. But still, Mnangagwa is going to go. The key political players can no longer exist in the same space. So there is no way that the two sides can exist in the same space. One side will have to move, and the other side, if it doesn't move, will be taken out. So this is, everyone now knows who is who. Because in terms of what has happened to Nyoka Mapunu's bank account, They've gone in there, they've assessed the deposits, who made the bank deposits, where did it come from, where did the other money go, who made the payments, and they also now have his phone. Who did he call? What did they discuss? And what was the plan? They have all these things. People inside and outside of Zimbabwe, people in the military, people in other security structures are well known from the information that has been collected. A wide information collection has taken place. And as I explained to you in the past, this was done with the help of mercenaries, so people who were coming from outside of Zimbabwe. So, and I mentioned certain countries over this very issue. Very, very interesting. And let's digest the information that I've given you right now. I don't want to spend too much time. I'm just about to go over my workout. I'm currently on a 6 months six-pack. So I'm trying to get a six-pack. So every morning I do a certain routine. And you saw it yesterday, I had another flight. So, and also in a few days' time, I'll be having another flight to Johannesburg. So what are the outstanding issues? We have Nyoka in court. We have the torture chamber that has been established by the Zimbabweans at Randburg. So we cannot allow the Zimbabweans to have a torture chamber in South Africa. So obviously, that is an abomination. You cannot have a torture chamber in South Africa where you torture Zimbabweans in a foreign country. And the South Africans cannot allow it. I don't know why they're allowing it, so that such a torture chamber exists in South Africa. We can also not have a situation where guys that have been taken, beaten badly, tortured, and clearly unable to walk, are taken to a police station, and nothing happens to find out who has tortured them, who has severely beaten them up. Especially the case of Nyoka, who was beaten so badly, he could not walk. He had swelling. When you look at his prison picture, he's got visible swelling on his prison picture, which I saw when I went to the prison. And you cannot have a situation where someone goes to someone's bank and they're part of Zimbabwe intelligence and they withdraw money and they take bank statements. This is crazy and unbelievable. And I believe that there is a need for a wider investigation into what has happened here. We have a serious problem that has taken place, and it's not good. So, as I said, a movement is just about to be made. You are going to see either of the two sides moving, because there's no way that this situation where everyone is just sitting in the same room pretending to be friends will continue, because something or someone is going to be taken out by surprise. But I don't believe that Mnangagwa has got time. I believe that Mnangagwa is soon going to be gone, and it's going to happen swiftly because of his lack of popularity within the military and within the security structures. Also, Mnangagwa is completely and continuously relying on external security. So people from outside of Zimbabwe, because the majority of the Zimbabwean guys no longer want Mnangagwa. Right, I think I've covered this. It's almost 20 minutes. I'm talking longer than Makandiwa. Makandiwa tomorrow is going to be live. Go and watch him on his channel. Right, guys, I like this. What we've covered is great. It's amazing. Mnangagwa is currently, probably right now, on his way to Belarus. He's behaving like a lost child. No one likes him. No one is giving him any attention in Russia. So let's quickly go through some news. I want to cover some 2 or 3 important stories. Then I'll come back during the day. Remember what I said. We are at a transitional stage. There is no way that Mnangagwa government is going to stay and stand. Mnangagwa government is going to collapse. Mnangagwa is so weak right now. The weakest moment of Mnangagwa, where he now has to go outside the country to launch operations. That's weakness. Very, very weak. So let's see what happens within a short space of time. But I believe that Mnangagwa is going to be removed very, very soon. Now, let's go into some important news. Right, the South Africans government has entered into negotiations in the DRC. Currently, South Africa has got 800 soldiers that have been abducted and are being held hostage in the DRC. The soldiers have been refused permission to leave. They are currently constrained in a base in Goma. And this has been happening since I told you about this more than 3 months ago. So South Africa yesterday has sent negotiators, and the man you're looking at here is Professor Kula Ishmael Teletsane. And yesterday he has revealed that there has been an agreement with M23 and SADC. Under this agreement, South Africa is going to go and repair the airport at Goma. Then they'll be allowed to take out their soldiers. However, I don't believe that they'll be allowed to take out their equipment. So the South Africans would then repair the airport at Goma, and after that, they'll be allowed to take out the 800 abducted soldiers and the bodies. As I mentioned to you, some of the bodies were lying in the bushes around the airport. There are some military bases there, and some of the bodies were lying there where they were killed. So where they died, they lied there, and they were not allowed to be picked up. So that agreement is going to come into force, and you can go and check out the story at SADC. Then in Botswana, there has been a massive development in Botswana. So President Dumapoko traveled from Zambia, where he had gone for a meeting. And there is currently a big trending story in Botswana, where President Dumapoko has allowed his friend, Zunaid Moti, from South Africa, of the Moti Group, to build schools and also clinics without going to tender. So President Dumapoko has said that previously presidents were having good ideas, but they could not implement them because they did not have a plan for implementing. So he has allowed Moti through his group. His group is called African, I think that's African Futures, if I'm not mistaken. And Zunaid Moti will be allowed to build this clinic, the clinics at about 36 million and the schools at about 9 million pula. So local groups are saying this is not right, but President Dumapoko has agreed to go with this. And the money is going to come from the 8 billion pula budget of all the ministries. So Botswana is not doing very well in terms of financial. 8 billion pula is approximately 500, if I'm not mistaken, $500 million. So the budget of Botswana is so low, and out of this budget, about 5% to 10% will go to this project. The clinics and schools will be finished within a period of about 3 to 4 months, and the payment of about 500 million pula that will be given to Zunaid Moti, who sponsored President Dumapoko's party, the United Democratic Umbrella, in the 2024 elections. So this deal is quite controversial. And let's see what happens with this deal. Let's see how it affects President Dumapoko. President Dumapoko is coming under a lot of pressure because the economy is not performing. There is no money in the economy. And I hope that the South Africans will be able to give them a bailout. The Botswana economy needs, at least from my point of view, about $1 billion, which is about 20 billion pula, to come back to normal. And at the moment, that money is not available. I don't know if the Americans are going to give him or if the guys in South Africa are going to give him. But if he gets $1 billion pula, he'll be able to kickstart the economy of Botswana. Then, in terms of President Hakainde Hichilema, he has traveled to Kafulafuta Dam. He's opened the dam yesterday. President President Hakainde Hichilema are doing very, very well. The dam is amazing, and it's going to be providing water to quite a number of local communities. And then obviously, we're following my Jeremiah, and I do not know what has happened. So let's look at the Herald newspaper. So I want to go to the Herald newspaper of Zimbabwe and then check if they've given us an update on Herald Zimbabwe. Let's see if they published or they're sleeping. You know that most of our newspaper guys, they like to sleep. They like to sleep on the job, and that's not good. Right, they're still sleeping on the job. So nothing on my Jeremiah today. I'll give it to you during the day. If it happens to come out, Chronicle Zimbabwe has published. So let's see what the Chronicle Zimbabwe guys are saying. At least the Chronicle Zimbabwe guys are awake. I like it. I like the new editor of the Chronicle Zimbabwe. Good job. So let's look at him and what he said over here. So guys, we need to be serious. Our country is going through a lot, and we're just about to go through something very big. So Mnangagwa has met students in Russia over here. So these are the students. He addressed this group of students. Most of these guys are probably guys from intelligence, police, security, children of war veterans. No one here is just a no one. So this group, you can clip this picture and you see that most of them are part of the Zimbabwe government structures. Mohadi had a meeting yesterday at Eskodini Vocational Training Center, Eskoveni. I went to school right next to this place, and 180 graduates at Kumalo Barracks in Bulawayo, and you've got Director Ordnance Colonel Godfrey Wapema congratulating the best students, Staff Sergeant Wongai Makua, good job. I like it. And then let's go to other things here. Musakwa builds business. We're pursuing a diploma. Guys, you can go and watch out this newspaper. Norman Mapeza. I don't know what's happening to him. He's got a bad temper. Every time you see Norman Mapeza, he's doing something crazy. Mapeza blows gasket. Could it be shifting sands at FC Platinum? This man, you must watch him very carefully. Everything he does these days, he's always angry. I don't know what's wrong with Norman Mapeza. Guys, Matem Darawi, something is happening with him. Apparently, he walked out of a press conference somewhere and shouted at some journalists. So something is happening with him. I hope it's not Brongo. Because if you're a leader, you must be calm. So I don't know what's happening with him. Now, let's quickly look at the comments. I know that some guys want to ask questions. Let's look at some. Where are you? You have WhatsApp or Facebook? Yes, I do. But mostly we are on YouTube. Gambakwe Media is a media house. So Nyoka, Bunu, Chimama, all those guys, they're not media houses. We actually employ people. So that's why you see we to focus on YouTube and Facebook. Those are our revenue channels. So we are not just information. So I can't just create a WhatsApp channel and dump all my content there. That's not how we do it. So you have to follow us on YouTube. So follow Gambakwe on YouTube. And Nyoka Mabuni is no money. He was sponsored by Chimama for their presser. How did he have a bank account when he doesn't get papers? All right. Lynn, this is one of the most important questions they've asked. I'm not going to answer you because there is a reason. I'm not answering you, not because I don't know the answer. But I'm not answering you because there are certain things that are happening, which next week, by Friday, I can then answer you. But let me partially answer you so that we don't go without understanding. The amount of money which was taken from Nyoka Mabunu's account is about R1 million. So that is the amount of money that was taken. However, before that money was taken, there were transactions that happened to various people. And that was ahead. So the information I'm telling you is openly available to Zimbabwe intelligence because they've got Nyoka Bunu's bank card. They've got his bank app, and they also have his bank statement. So what I'm telling you is not a secret. They've taken Nyoka Bunu's bank. I don't know whether it was his bank account or he was using someone else's bank account, but whatever he was holding when he arrived, because he went to the airport, he was called by someone he knows. And they said, come to a meeting. We are finalizing the planning. So when he arrived, remember when you go into a plane, you've got an identity. You can't go in an aeroplane in South Africa without an identity. So Nyoka Bunu has gone into the aeroplane with an identity. When he arrived at the airport, he has met people he knows. They then took him and said, let's go to a meeting. When he arrived, he has found everyone that he knows there. However, among that group were I do not know, over 50 of those guys were Sean Mnangagwa's people. They were Zimbabwe military, they were mercenaries. That is why they were able to capture 50 people. So you can't capture 50 people when you're few. So this was a big meeting, and people were taken by surprise. That was a Zimbabwe military operation, Zimbabwe intelligence operation on the soil of South Africa. And the torture that took place was such that 20 guys who went to the airport, to the police at Santa, could not stand, could not walk, and were just basically like lying there on that day. So that is my answer to you, Lynn, and obviously we'll give you more information. Guys, don't tuka. Mkoma, Aaron, don't tuka people here. That's not cool. Don't tuka anyone on the comments. Yeah. Then let's look at other comments. Right, let's see other comments. I want to answer relevant and important questions. Right. One-on-one. Second Republic doesn't use social media, but they study it. They have real degrees. And they cannot have minds controlled by social media, mind control. Let me tell you something about social media and intelligence. Yesterday at the court, there were over, let's say 20 Zimbabwe intelligence, right? You know where they get information? They get information from social media. So one of the things that I always tell you guys, Inini, is I'm not afraid of anyone from Zimbabwe intelligence. And I'm not scared of those guys because they are our brothers. So the person that I don't like is the mercenaries, because those ones, they don't know you. So Zimbabwe intelligence guys, most of them are just like you and me. So I interact with them on a day-to-day basis, and they do start social media. In fact, without social media, Zimbabwe intelligence, if we take their phones, they are basically useless. What do we call those people who don't know what they're doing? Ignorant. If they don't have social media, they're ignorant. So social media, that is where they operate. But most Zimbabwe intelligence guys are okay. They're fine. The problem we have is guys who operate in the shadows or a parallel intelligence. That is the problem. Those ones, they operate in a way that is not permitted. They also, as I said to you, are operating a torture chamber at Randburg. So there's currently a torture chamber at Randburg in South Africa, and I don't know why the South Africans are allowing it. That's the Zimbabweans run a torture chamber in Randburg in South Africa, where they've tortured people severely last month before throwing them at court or at a police station. And Nyoka Mapunu, right now, before he was taken to prison, They withdrew money from his bank account. They severely tortured him. And they have taken his phone. They've also printed out bank statements and done intelligence work inside of South Africa without the South Africans being involved. That is crazy and unbelievable. So if they caught 50 people, then name the names. I know the names of some of the guys, but they are missing guys, about 30. So I don't know what has happened to those guys. Come on, 1 and 1. This is not a joke. I hope someone catches you one day. Like they catch you and they keep you from your family for days. Right, South Africa is not safe. Be careful whom you talk to. Watch your movements. Agreed. Mass Studio, I agree with you. The South African government is allowing Zimbabwe intelligence to operate here. And it's no longer safe for you to do what you're doing. Just leave the professionals like Gambakwe to do their work. Like I told you guys, I don't work with anybody. I just do my work. That's why you see me working freely. Ndikaona munhu intelligence, tototaura nyaya, it's not a problem. I do not worry about Mnangagwa. I do not care. Mnangagwa is not going to catch me. And ndibatwi nemunhu wekumasvingo. Right. South African government protects Mnangagwa's criminal abducting people in South Africa. Now you know why half of Zimbabwe in South Africa, because of your government. That's true. But we are just about to enter a period that you've never seen. Everyone is now known. If you have ever been involved in any planning on anything against Mnangagwa, don't sit there and think that you're safe. Mnangagwa has got your files. Make a move and make it fast. Mukaita zvokunonoka munobatwa nevanhu ava. And when they catch you, they are going to finish you off. Ana Mnangagwa. Right, I think I've covered everything. 37 minutes. And now let me go to my sponsor. For the guys in the UK, please buy Mve. That is one packet of 200 grams Mve, the only original Mve. And you get a free packet of Mazondo spice. If you're in Zimbabwe, you buy a packet and you get a blanket. So one of these blankets, king size, and or you get a jacket. And if you bought more than 2 packets, you're going to get a free packet of bro wipes. Atidi munhu anopinda bedroom sekuti ari kupinda mumwena. We don't want people who give their wives cervical cancer. And obviously, we are launching Gambakwe Men's Club, where you'll be able to sort out your funeral policy, life policy, and travel insurance. Very, very soon, I'll let you guys know what is happening and when that is happening. We don't want GoFundMe. If you're in the UK, if you're in USA, if you're in South Africa, if you die, we don't want GoFundMe. We want you to go and get buried with dignity. So that is going to happen. Let's see if there's any other comments before I go. Gambakwe, please do another show during the day. People have a lot of questions. Yes, I will do so. Mukoma Ashton, please, this week is critical. There is something happening. We can't find Nyoka's ID. Unfortunately, I can't display this ID that I've got here. Let me see. I am not allowed to display IDs. This one is allowed because it's published. But my own denial. So I've got a lot of information, but I want you guys to understand something. Information is a commodity. Everyone has information. What we want is change. So we want to change our country. So Mnangagwa has got information, but he can't implement. That's why our country is a mess. We want a new leader that is going to come. And once they come, they will improve the life of our people. That is where Mnangagwa is failing. That's why you see Kuti Inini, I'll never sell out to Mnangagwa. Guys, Even kana ndikasara ndisina kana cent pamba pangu, I will never sell out to Mnangagwa. So young people, don't sell out to Mnangagwa. I always say to you, you're going to go into bed and you're going to cry yourself to sleep if you sell out to Mnangagwa, because change is about to come. So you never see me selling out to Mnangagwa. I would rather die of hunger at my house. Like now, I've spent 30K traveling up and down. I get assistance to travel up and down, but I'll never take a cent from Mnangagwa. That man, that is my problem with Mnangagwa. So let's get this thing going. Let's get change into our country. Let's work on a transitional system. And let's get the correct people into our country. Zimbabwe has got so much potential. But what Mnangagwa is doing with his corruption cannot be allowed to continue. So Geza is right. I support Geza with what he's doing. I've given you an explanation of the setbacks that have happened. And I hope that I've clearly described what's going on. That is my media job, to give that information. And the good thing is, I'm not involved in anything on any side. So you never see me, there's a gathering of people that are planning. You never see me there. That's why you see that I'm not arrested. Do you think I was failing to go and jump into a plane and go to South Africa and be part of the group? So that is why I can freely walk around and talk to agents, because my job is collect information as much as possible. So myself, I give you everything as it happens when it is necessary. But I also have to protect people. So for example, Nyoka currently, I was very involved in discovering where he was, which prison he was put into, giving guys clarity on what exactly was the status of Nyoka. That is because other people, they've got limits on what they can say and do. But in India, I've got no limits. And in a boss, if I just wake up, I just drink my water, then I say, right. But that is why I don't sell out to Mnangagwa. Imagine if I sell out to Mnangagwa, then he says, Gambakwe, today don't post, tomorrow post. I would die of this whole thing. I cannot take control. Someone controlling me, it makes me sick. I don't like it. And I've never worked for anybody. I've never become part of selling out. And I am totally clean. I like it. I like being clean. And young people, especially those in the media, your future is so bright. You are going to have millions and millions of dollars in the new government. You are going to have billions and billions. Just don't believe, Kuti, you need these guys. You don't need Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is the worst person. I can assure you. I know it myself. He's the worst person right now. No one likes him. Like 99% of the military don't like Mnangagwa. The police, soldiers, intelligence, counterintelligence, they don't like him. Because Arku Raiva and Nzara. Guys are living such a difficult life because this man is failing to do the necessary, which is to develop our country. And Mnangagwa will never do it. He's got no plan. Right, I would like to thank all of you for watching. And I'll see you again a little bit later. We have a very busy week. Guys, we need support with the FAZ. So if you're able to support us for me to move up and down, we've got a number of flights to take. I need to fly to a number of places, especially for the court cases. I suspect that we need about 2 or 3 flights this week, which is about 20 grand in runs. So let's make it happen. I'm Nech Banzi, Imivanwariku, UK. 1,000 pounds is enough for me to fly 3 times. Let's make this happen. Musakundwe, Nejigananda. Na wikino. Wikino wakanzi, budisa $50,000. Inotoshika, msadi mapeza kuti budita. Inenge ya shika. That's the problem with our guys. Let's make it happen. You can't withdraw 1 million from the ATM. Yes, I've explained them common. It's a transfer. It's a withdrawal. So somehow, they were able to make those withdrawals. I didn't say you withdrew 1 million. I don't know the exact amount. But some of the money has moved to other people. Do you understand? Some of the money has been transferred to other people, and Zimbabwe intelligence has the app. So they're able to see who took money, who put money in, who was part of the organizing, and they took the phone. They know who was communicating, which general was talking. So there is no way back here. Someone has to move or they die. That is simple. That is what is going to happen. You are now at a critical moment right now. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. And very soon I'll be showing you guys the workout. Yes, 6-pack. So it's going to be a 6 months program. I promise that in the evenings, I'll show you how to do it so that your midsection is a 6-pack. Thank you very much for watching, and a good day to you all.
Mama wanna get it, mama wanna get it nice. I know food I miss so, I know food I say, I know kaya mari. Gambakwe don't come, when don't come,
Gambakwe uyo anotara mari anogaya mari garai mamunzwa pane nyaya pano zvamunoda kunzwa zvinotaurwa pano madiko kumunzwa mugova ne.com. Gambakwe vanogaya mari vanotaura mari vanoziya mari. Gambakwe vanotaura peya kuti pamberi zvichafamba sei. Vanhu muterere zvikubatsire mukufamba kwenyu zvikubatsire. Mirai ndikudze kuti chokwadi pano chizere. Gambakwe vanogaya cash vanopa mafacts vanotaura straight pane evidence pane confidence plus intelligence.
Entertainment, current affairs and news. Gambakwe don't come. Usasarire Gambakwe anuka.